Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the brand new physical God Goku in DBZ Dokkan Battle Global and JP, who's just been released for both versions as part of the Saiyan Day celebration. So God Goku, he's really good, and we're going to be taking a look at him at a rainbow. Now I didn't get lucky enough to get him at 55%, let alone rainbow, but this isn't a huge issue. I have a way using Bardock to get him as a 200% or under a 200% lead, so we're going to use him as a friend and then just take a look at how good he is. But Goku is pretty good. Bardock's good, but Goku's way better. Goku is very solid for a couple reasons. So Goku is a pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans lead, which is very good, of 170% with an additional 30% for those that are power of wishes, and are also of the exploding rage category. So some pretty good stuff there in terms of his overall functionality. Then of course we have his actual passive, which is really good. He also raises and stacks attack and defense permanently on his super, which is something that's always appreciated, I think, nowadays. Units that constantly improve their defense are always big in the meta, always have been, and nowadays especially players tend to like them a lot. So we have that going on with Goku, obviously pretty good. And alongside that as well, his passive is really solid. If you have 6 super class allies on the turn, he will generate physical orbs, which is really good. Have 100% additional attack for the first 6 turns from the start of the turn. He has 150% attack and defense, an additional 50% attack and defense when attacking, medium chance of evading, including super attacks, and you'll gain an additional attack and defense of 50% and 30% evasion chance if you get 3 or more key spheres. This is fairly easy and consistent to do. Not to mention, he will also launch an additional super attack and guard all attacks with 6 or more key spheres obtained. And if you have 4 or more super attacks fired off, he will gain an additional attack of 50% from the turn in which he performs his 4th super attack. So pretty good stuff, honestly speaking. Really solid stuff from Goku. Looking very good. Obviously, in terms of links, Goku has Super Saiyan, Shocking Speed, Warrior Gods, Godly Power, Over in a Flash, Prepared for Battle, and Fierce Battle, and he's on a ton of categories. We'll go through them just now, but his transformation is really solid. His transformation can be activated when he has done 4 or more super attacks in battle and from the 5th turn. Super Saiyan Goku is far more offensively orientated, so Super Saiyan Goku performs guaranteed critical hits, only raises his attack and defense for 1 turn. However, he has attack and defense of 159% and an additional attack and defense of 100% when attacking. He also has a great chance, which is 70% of evading enemies' attacks before he attacks, and he will launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super. So Goku is very strong, but I always look at Goku, or the way they utilize Goku, as more of a finishing unit than anything else. I don't think he's necessarily a unit that you want to bring out unless you're finishing off the opposition. But Goku is very strong. His link set does change. He loses the Warrior Gods and the Gods related links and gains Golden Warrior and Experienced Fighters. Not bad, but obviously something to note. Besides that, there's not really too much else that you need to know about Goku. He's on a ton of categories, and his defense looks really solid right off the bat. Well, obviously at a rainbow level. We have quite a few links active here and pretty decent support, so this is obviously a really good representation of a good best case kind of scenario starting situation for Goku. Over 200k defense is pretty good, and with his ability to change orbs, getting the 6 orbs in the beginning is especially not too hard. Now, to talk about Goku's orb changing, because I have seen I don't want to say discussion about it, but I think people need to understand that you are going to have situations where you're not going to be able to get 6 orbs with Goku. The orbs are not going to fall the way you want them to fall, and things are not going to look good or as good for him. Now, he's not going to be terrible if he doesn't get 6 orbs. He'll be more than fine. He'll still look great, but he's just not going to look the same as if he did get those 6 orbs. And this is standard for any unit that's like this. Look at Bardock, for example, when he doesn't get 3 rainbow orbs and doesn't crit and doesn't have his additional attack and defense of 50%. You can see straight away that there's a huge change in how he functions as a unit. So this isn't a thing that's exclusive to Goku. I think the big thing is that Goku gains guard, and I like to look at Tech, Super Saiyan Vegeta. First, let's just see, Goku's stacked pretty decently here. You can see he's doing quite well. Obviously no support on this rotation, so that explains the kind of stability in the defense here, but still overall looking really solid. Obviously it's important to note how his passive works in regards to the orbs. It's incredibly important for Goku as a unit to understand how everything comes together. But I think overall he's really dependable. Even without 6 orbs, 3 orbs, he still has 60% dodge, which is very valuable. It's incredibly good, and you can't really deny how valuable and good it is overall. So 9.4 million, very solid attack stat from Goku. I say very solid, exceptional attack stat from Goku. And yeah, overall he looks really good so far. I think personally speaking, the only issue I have with Goku as a unit, is obviously that orb requirement. And as I mentioned, it's not a huge problem. It is something that will pop up from time to time. But like I said, think of units that are similar, like the Int Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the Tech Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. These units are very similar to Goku in nature. They all need 6 orbs to kind of have the best situation out of them. And this doesn't mean that they're bad. They're not bad. It just means that you're going to have those moments in events, hard events, or standard normal events where you're going to see him have problems. You can see here Goku at 270,000 defenses, incredibly good, and very early on into the fight. He gained 3 orbs and he's over 300k, which is incredibly good again as well. So honestly speaking, it's just not, I don't want to say hard, but it's really not a big issue when you look at Goku in the grand scheme of things. But I think a lot of players like to have these consistencies and kind of just general good ways of really kind of improving on units and measuring units. And I think the orbs can persuade some people. I think what the orbs do, at least one thing I will admit, is they make him a slightly inconsistent first slot tank. And he's not, it's not to say that he is a first slot tank. He doesn't have to be just because he has guard. But the nice thing about him is that if you get or have the ability to access 6 orbs, then he is a first slot tank. And this is incredibly valuable for most teams. And so honestly, it's not a bad thing. It's just to say that it is incredibly valuable for him as a unit, that he has the ability to be a 6 slot tank and to obviously help his team out from that perspective. So yeah, Goku is very solid. Now I did want to look at them the second run here. It's a very similar team, but it's slightly different. So the big difference here is that, honestly speaking, I wanted to see what Goku was like without his 100% attack buff and his inability to create orbs. Now, it seems like a stupid thing to assess, but with a really good category lead like Goku's, you do want to kind of see what affects a unit's overall performance. Like, is it make or break if you don't have a super class unit? And for him, honestly, not really. You can see a big difference in the attack stats. We're starting with 8 and 9 millions last time. We're not in this case, but again, not that big a deal. Goku still does a fantastic job. So really, honestly, it's not a make or break thing. I think the changing of orbs is far more important, but again, I don't think 6 orbs is necessary for Goku to look exceptional. I think 6 orbs makes him the best unit or the best TUR in the game. So when he has 6 orbs, I think he is the best TUR in the game. I won't deny that. I think he is likely to be the best unit or TUR or summonable TUR, whatever you want to call them, in the game with 6 orbs. But with 3 orbs, he's definitely still up there in the top 5. Very, very good. Still fantastic. 60% dodge, huge attack stats, everything more than fine from that perspective. So yeah, he looks good. In terms of build, he's a little bit of a difficult one, because in his base bottom form, he benefits a lot from additionals. He has additionals baked in if you have 6 or more orbs, but he gains a lot from additionals. Obviously, additionals means, most importantly, stacks, and stacks are always something that's incredibly treasured if you look at units in general. Stacks make units stronger defensively, and with Goku being able to fire off multiple supers, it does kind of make sense. Not to mention, also, when he gets into his transform state, he has guaranteed crits. So you kind of want the ability to potentially get 3 guaranteed critical supers off during those 3 turns. However, you also need a little bit of crit, because quite frankly, until that point, if you don't have crit, you won't do that much damage. And also, once those 3 turns phase out, if you don't have the opposition dead, then you kind of need crits, because so many of these events rely on super heavy damage reduction. If you don't have crit, you're not going to look great at all. So that's what I think about build wise. Overall though, I think Goku looks great, and we're going to take a look at his transform state a little bit now, in some harder events where basically we've gotten to the point where we can actually see his transform state. But yeah, I think, I don't think you can undersell Goku. I don't think you can kind of undersell him. Just wanted to show him with his top kind of attack buff here. So this is him. This is with every buff active. So starting buff, and also his 4 attack buff, and almost 12 million is pretty ridiculous for a TUR. So Goku looking pretty gnarly in that perspective. We've now also got him a little bit further on. Gonna use his really well voiced active skill. There we go. A really, really awesome looking active skill. And yeah, I think his transform state, as I mentioned before, is definitely more of a finishing transformation and active skill than it is anything like else. It's definitely there to finish off bosses, more so than to be a prolonged state of existence, and that fits with the movie. So it's not really, or it shouldn't really be a surprise to people, I don't think, personally speaking. So yeah, honestly looks really, really good from this perspective onwards. I think Goku's in his elements in this stage. His defense does go up when he transforms, which is great. He does obviously lose guard and everything, but the raw defense going up is nice. It's not like it gets halved or anything, which a lot of people don't like when they transform. Unfortunately, we do have the Dokkan attack here, so you're not able to see the attack stat properly, but it looks like 7 million. At a guaranteed crit, that's pretty good. There's not as many layers to his attack stat in this phase, so it isn't as easy to see super big numbers from him or super high results or anything like that. So yeah, I would say that is probably the only thing to bear in mind with Goku. But again, he still looks exceptional, and he still looks really, really good. You're going to see him here a little bit more, I don't want to say catered to, but kind of in a much better element here. A bit of support on the rotation, quite a bit of support actually, and most of his important links active. I think we have 5 links active here, so we're in a good space, and we're going to see a pretty sizable attack stat from him. So yeah, Goku, to cut a long story short, exceptionally good unit. I think everything you've seen here shows him to be such. 8.2 million, guaranteed crit, chance to fire off 3 super attacks, great defense afterwards, and yeah, you can see straight away just how much damage Goku can do, which is really awesome. I think Goku's in a very good space as a unit. I think he's got all the toolkits everyone needs, great leader skill as well. Covering pure Saiyans and hybrid Saiyans is something that's incredibly valuable, and I think it's impossible not to kind of feel that Goku's in a very strong space. So yeah, overall Goku looks really, really good. So in terms of his links, there's not too much to say, honestly speaking. He's got a pretty diverse key link set in his base form, with shocking speed, over in a flash, prepared for battle, all being really solid key links. He's got warrior gods and godly power, which makes him link pretty well with obviously other god units, Super Saiyan Blues, Super Saiyan gods, etc. And he's got Super Saiyan, which is a good generic link, and obviously Fierce Battle, as he was Dokkan Awakened. Then in his secondary form, he retains Super Saiyan and Prepared for Battle and Fierce Battle and Shocking Speed, which is all fine. And he gains Golden Warrior, Kamehameha, and Experienced Fighters. Honestly, you should be able to find a consistent unit that shares 4 links with him quite easily. His best linking units are a couple Kaioken Gokus, which makes sense, but generally speaking, if you're on JP, at least you have the Strength 1 Easy Aid, which is great, but if you're not, then you're going to have to wait until then to have probably his best linking partner, which is the Strength Kaioken Goku. Overall though, in terms of link leveling, there's not too much to gain here, mainly just attack, with a tiny bit of defense that you gain from link leveling him. But as with all Saiyans, link leveling Saiyan units is not the most impactful thing to occur in the game. Link leveling him doesn't access a new level of power, just will push that 11.8 million attack stat to around 12.1, or at least near that figure. So a little bit of a boost, but nothing too crazy. It's not going to blow your mind, and it's not going to make him. He already looks impressive as is, so it's not like it's going to make him crazy impressive or anything like that. Generally speaking, he's going to be looking fine as is, and he will remain looking fine as is, of course. But beyond that, there's not too much else to say really. Goku's in a good space. Link wise, not a lot of great linking partners, but a lot of decent ones with 3 or 4 links. And mainly speaking, you don't need them to make him work. It's not like he's an extreme unit that needs big bad bosses or anything. So yeah, overall he just looks really solid. So I think Goku's in a good space. I think he's exceptional, and I think he will help you carry a lot of teams. His leader skill also makes him quite diverse, because you can basically run a lead that runs him and any hybrid or pure Saiyan, which is quite a wide category to take a look at. But yeah, I think overall that's everything we need to mention. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about Goku, and let me know what you think about him in general. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care and bye.